I mean, are you serious? Are you serious? All right, guys. So some of you may have heard of this, and others, I know this is going to be shocking to you, but there's a brand new building that's getting ready to be built, and you've seen it in the thumbnail. That's going to be built actually in Arlington, Virginia, right across the Potomac River in Washington, right directly across from the Capitol. Now, it looks like the Tower of Babel. I mean, it's really wild. I mean, everybody's talking about it out there. This is what it's going to look like. And it's going to be 350 feet high, an incredible structure that goes absolutely like a towering up, built and constructed much like what was believed to be what it looked like in the Tower of Babel. Now, Amazon is the one building it, and Amazon said this is going to become the second headquarters. It's the centerpiece, they said, of their second headquarters. Israel 365 News compared it to the Tower of Babel. And there's even a scripture, if you look in the Bible, which is really wild, because the Bible talks about what has been, will be, and what will be has been. Check this out. In Genesis chapter 11, the Bible said the whole earth was of one language and of none and one speech. Okay, so the whole world at one time, everyone spoke one single language. And it came to pass that as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and there they dwelt there. And they said one to another, "Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly." And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, "Go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach into heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth." And so they planned on building this tower. And they wanted it to reach into the heavens. They wanted to build a name for themselves that people would know who they were. And they wanted to control the people, basically, and keep them all there under their thumb, if you will, or at least underneath their leadership. But the Bible says the Lord, in verse 5, the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men built. And the Lord said, "Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do." So go down, let us go down, the Lord said, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. Now, this is very important, because what God saw was happening was mankind had forgot him. They had acquired technology and abilities to create something spectacular on their own, of which they wanted to build a name for themselves and get all the credit. They also were using the fact that they had one single language working together. Now, Amazon, owned by, of course, Jeff Bezos, and his wife owns pretty well the other half of the company. But Amazon has become a mighty, powerful, huge empire, as we know. And they want to build this tower, and they're going to build it. Now, it's going to set in Arlington, Virginia, right across the river. And it's going to, you'll be able, if you stood on the steps of the Capitol, you'll be able to look directly across the river, and there it will be, the tower, much looking like the Tower of Babel in the days of Nimrod, the mighty hunter, and the days of the giants and Nephilims, the days of the fallen angels, during the time that men become so corrupt and so wicked that God was also concerned about the fact that they would have the technological ability to reach into the heavens, and that there would be nothing they couldn't figure out to do. Well, what's going on today, of course, is even though we speak many, 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 many different languages around the world, we can pretty well communicate with each other using now AI technology, using Google Translate, using all kinds of different abilities where we can just speak and the other person watching can hear it in their own language. They can speak to us through telecommunications, through video conferencing, and we can hear them in our own language. We know that there's subtitles being used all the time. We know that it's just incredible translation. Somebody can, they can print an article in Russian. I can push one button and it all of a sudden comes out in English. There's nothing we can't do now. And you're seeing that the advancement in technology, whether it be transhumanism, whether it be, different types of microchip technology, whether it be all kinds of high velocity frequencies, whether it be trying to create an artificial sun for nuclear fusion, whether it be putting men on the moon, the Mars, or wherever else we want to go. All of this stuff is happening now at an incredible speed, and there's nothing anyone can really do to stop it right now. Matter of fact, the company Amazon has just unveiled these plans for its new corporate headquarters that will stand in Arlington, Virginia, directly across the Potomac River from Washington, D.C. The announcement inaccurately describes the design as a double helix, but that's not what it is. Scholars of ancient history and Bible prophecy readily have recognized that this ancient model for the design is actually the exact design of the Tower of Babel. We have ancient script and tablets that depict what the Tower of Babel looked like. So we know what it looked like. We know its design, and we know that this headquarters is designed like that. It's not a double helix. That's an incorrect description. That's not even what a double helix is. So there's a little bit of confusion there. But the construction on the second corporate headquarters of Amazon is expected to begin next year and will be completed in the year 2025 at a cost of $2.5 billion. It will include 2.8 million square feet of new office space distributed across 3 22-story buildings. 3 22-story buildings is what will create this spiraling tower. The location is less than 4 miles from the Capitol building, directly across the Potomac River in Washington, D.C. The project is already been approved, and it's going to happen. All right. So this can be now a natural beauty of a double helix can be seen throughout the world. There's a lot of buildings from the geometry of our own DNA to the elemental form of galaxies, weather patterns, pine cones, and seashells. But this is not a double helix. That's going to be the Arlington headquarters. Instead, it is a very, very similar an actual design of the same building that was done by Nimrod so many thousands of years ago. This is quite extraordinary. Also, Nebuchadnezzar, referred to the archaeologist in the Anunnaki, is believed to have been almost 300 feet tall, with a square base measuring 300 feet on each side, encased in an earlier structure made of sun-baked bricks inside of 49-foot thick walls of oven-baked bricks. Now, the design here for this one is 300 feet, measuring 300 feet on each side, just like the one in Babel, and a little over 350 feet high. So they're building it just a little bit higher than Nimrod did, and yet the same width at the base. This is quite extraordinary. Now, this is happening. Is that by accident? Did somebody just accidentally stumble on that? You do the math. But anyway, this is what's coming. So it's very interesting. I'm not trying to say that Amazon's trying to mimic the Tower of Babel, but it is very interesting that the dimensions of this tower is so similar. It'd be almost like somebody rebuilding an ark at nearly the same size of Noah's Ark. People would say, look, that's the same. People would immediately would pick up on that and say, what's he trying to do? He's building an exact replica, or maybe if it's not an exact replica, he's building a boat at the same dimensions virtually of the Noah's Ark. Well, it's the same thing here. We have a building that's being built in the same dimensions and almost virtual style, literally, of the Tower of Babel. This is very interesting. We're going to see if there's something prophetic about this. Also, the fact that it's going to be built right there across the waters from the capital is quite interesting in lieu of everything that's going on. And the timing. They're starting pretty soon here now. It's all been approved. Everything's ready to go. And it will be finished by the year 2025. I think that you'll see that a lot of people will gravitate to see what that building's all about. And we'll watch and see how Amazon's company goes. Now, remember, Jeff Bezos just stepped down. He's not going to be the CEO anymore. So that's going to be very interesting. Let me put a quick shout out, guys, if I could, for www.healthwithpaul.com. That's www.healthwithpaul.com. A lot of people have already figured this out, that if you're middle-aged, you already know that your skin is starting to sag, maybe, and bag, and the wrinkles. What? I hate to say that, but BioTrust has got a new product. It just takes one scoop in the soup. This stuff is tasteless, odorless, and you'll become ageless by getting this collagen. Now, it's multi-collagen. It's not made of any human collagen. I would never endorse that. But instead, what they're using is plant collagen, egg collagen, and fish collagen. It's very good. It's 51% off. Check it out at www.healthwithpaul.com. That's www.healthwithpaul.com. So it is very interesting what's going on here. What I'm finding out is what has been will be. Solomon said there's nothing new under the sun. What has been will be. What will be has been. So there's nothing new. We're just seeing a constant repeat, a constant things are constantly being played out in front of us. If we would just read the Bible, and this is why it's so important in prophecy, you have to look at what was happened in the Old Testament to really help you understand what's going to happen in the New. Even the Apostle Paul said it's a shadow of things to come. The law being a shadow or a schoolmaster to understand the things to come, referring to Jesus Christ. But in prophecy, you got to read Daniel to understand Daniel, to help you understand the book of Revelation. And as Pastor Mark Biltz, who's a dynamic pastor and a tremendous studier of the word, as he brought out in a book he recently wrote, and he was on our show, you have to understand the book of Jeremiah to understand the book of Revelation. And he shared with us how many scriptures in the book of Jeremiah are actually quoted by the angel that gave the word of revelation to John the Revelator there in the book of Revelation, in the Apocalypse. So there's a lot going on. You're seeing more and more of this taking place. And remember, what was going on in the days of Nimrod? Well, men's hearts were on evil continually. The fallen ones had already taken wives of which they had chosen. They had looked upon the daughters of men, saw that they were fair, and took those that they wanted. They gave them, birthed them children, mighty men, men of great renown, giants in the land, and Nimrod being their leader, their king, a mighty hunter. And you can even find that, even not just in the Bible, but you can find that in the Sumerian texts, how Nimrod was the king among them. So he was without question a hybrid of the fallen angels and the human race. And he also was very ambitious and was very proud and wanted, and very violent, and wanted to be the king over the world. Now, Satan is wanting to rule the world as well. This is why it's a beast kingdom. It's a new world order. It's a one world government maintaining control over the human race. And so all the pieces and parts of what was happening then is happening now. This is why we know we're living in the last days, and people need to give their life to Jesus Christ, because certainly we're running out of time. Now, you know, Sister Heidi has been doing a great job on Tuesday nights. We've been teaching with her, of course, the book of Daniel. And we're learning so much about what went on during that period, as well as how it relates to the prophecies of Revelation. And, you know, as we were studying about Nebuchadnezzar, we're going to learn more about him because his vision, the interpretations of Daniel, the events that took place during that time. This is a man that thought he was going to rule the world. He was actually the greatest king in the history of the world at that time, and is represented as the golden head on the statue in the vision. Yet he had to end up with 7 years. He lived out in the woods and crawled around, and he didn't even cut his hair or his fingernails. They were like claws, as he went completely mad because he was trying to he was trying to rebel against God. He was trying to actually steal the glory from God. And so there's a lot of that happening now. We're going to keep a close eye on what that means. I believe the kings of the earth are being identified. I think the 10 kings in the book of Revelation are starting to be identified. And we'll talk more about that, okay? But you certainly don't want to miss some of the more seminars, webinars we're going to have later this year, as we're going to be touching on those things. So there's a lot going on. People need to give their life to Jesus Christ. Don't forget, I just did a video over on my app. I had to let off some steam. I just had to let off some steam. And then when about the time I thought I felt like I was okay, then I found more information. It caused me to absolutely go ballistic. And so I had to do a longer video on it, get it off my chest. I did that over at Patreon. But it's two different sets of information, but it will help you understand what's going on. So there's a brand new video on Patreon, a brand one on my app. You can check out either one. Some of you are subscribers to one or the other. Some of you subscribe to both. Really, it's a great thing to do and to stay on top of it. Plus, if you get the app, you get all of those 150 plus articles. Bart Begley doing a great job keeping that up to speed, along with some good research coming to him from my other son, Brock, Sister Heidi, myself, of course, Agent 2020 throw stuff at it. And between all of it, you get a tremendous taste of what's happening around the world. Okay. So give your life to Jesus Christ. I'm going to be back. Continue to stay focused. We're running out of time. If you're not saved, I'm telling you, the signs of the end are everywhere. The signs of the last days are everywhere, guys. Even the Tower of Babel, a high-tech Tower of Babel, the Nephilims are in the scenes. What?